party around 2 a.m. and returned to his dormitory at 3 a.m. Biss was young and he was rich. The man was an NBA player from the 17th onwards. He'd signed a 5-year, $1.6 million deal with Reebok, which is $4.5 mil today if you factor in inflation. With all that money, it's no shock a young man of his stature would fall to some of the most heinous vices. His father alleged that he'd spent over $11,000 in the months leading up to the draft, so he was no virgin to splurging. And considering the time period, I can think of a certain substance one might partake in that could run them a hefty tab when purchasing in higher volumes frequently. In the late night of the 19th, Biss snorted coke until dawn after returning to his dorm room with his buddy Brian Tribble and some of his Maryland teammates. Sometime after 6 a.m., Biss suffered a seizure and collapsed in front of his teammate. At 6:32 a.m., Brian Tribble dialed 911 and reported Biss's status.
Basic County emergency.
Yeah, I'd like to have an ambulance come. 1103 Washington Hall. It's an emergency with Len Biss. And he just went to Boston and he needs some assistance.
What are you talking about?
Len Biss needs help.
What's the problem?
He's not breathing right.
What's your name?
My name is Brian.
Brian what?
Tribble.
The ambulance would arrive at 6:36. At 6:50, Biss was transported to Leland Memorial Hospital. By 8:55 on the morning of June 19, 1986, Len Biss was pronounced deceased from cardiac arrest at the age of 22. A urine sample was taken at Leland Memorial when EMTs attempted to revive him, which detected traces of cocaine. Heart attacks in a young athlete are rare, so the evidence pointed to the COD being drug-related regardless of the urine sample. A grand jury would conduct an investigation into the matter. 3 people were indicted after Biss's passing. His Maryland teammates, Terry Long and David Gregg, were charged with possession of cocaine and obstruction of justice. Brian Tribble was tried for possession and distribution of cocaine. All charges were dropped against Long and Gregg in exchange for their testimony against Tribble, who was believed to be the supplyman for Biss and possibly his other Maryland teammates and associates. The Maryland players testified that a substantial amount of product was laid out on a mirror in Biss's dormitory when they entered the room the night of Biss's passing. Gregg stated that he asked Tribble how he came to possess such a large pile of cocaine, to which Tribble replied, "It came from the bottom of the stash," and that he said another kilo is coming tomorrow. A jury would rule Tribble not guilty on all counts on June 3, 1987, almost a year after Biss's demise. During final arguments, Tribble would be labeled a dope dealer by prosecutor Robert Bonsib. The prosecutor implied that Tribble saw Biss as a meal ticket and wanted to quote-unquote attach himself to this rising star. Along with Biss's teammates' testimonies, the prosecution had a key witness in 17-year-old Terrence Moore, who allegedly distributed coke for Tribble. Jurors didn't find the witness to be a credible source, however. Reading an excerpt from a Washington Post article after the verdict, the jury gave little credence to the prosecution's theory that Tribble, Biss, and Terrence Moore were co-conspirators in Tribble's alleged cocaine distribution network. Moore's testimony was crucial to prove the theory. Moore testified that he sold up to 100 half-gram packages of cocaine a day for Tribble around Montana Avenue in Northeast Washington and frequently spotted Biss in that area, known for drug sales. But his testimony was considered unbelievable, jurors said. Juror Doris Walker said she found it hard to believe that Biss, whose face was well known from newspaper articles and televised Terrapin games, would hang around a known drug market, as Moore claimed. Trying to prove that a basketball star with a good reputation was dealing on the side based on word of mouth made the testimony paper strong.
Yo, what's good, people? We back. Had to come through. Hope that you watched that clip that I put in the beginning. Salute to the person who made that video, did the research on that. I saw that before, information that I knew, and I'm glad that he put it that way, because I wanted to talk about why Len Bias was killed. He was killed. If you drop a poisonous pill in somebody's drink and they die, you just killed them. So let's talk about this, right? So Len Bias, right, coming out in '86. We've heard the stories before. A lot of people have been telling it was the Len Bias conspiracy for a long time. It's been brewing up that he crack cocaine, taking a hit of crack cocaine is not going to kill him. I've never done crack in my life. I'm just saying that we've seen fiends and smokers in our neighborhoods coming up that have lasted a long time, longer than you would, people who have never smoked crack. You know what I'm saying? Have a lot of kids and everything like that. So we know that one hit of crack, if it kills you, somebody did, they cooked it with something else. You know what I'm saying? And so, not just that, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna talk about the reason Len Bias was killed. Because Len Bias coming out in '86, was a thing to where, he's supposed to be the competition for Jordan. He's supposed to be, Bird, and Jordan's going to be Magic. Right? Because Jordan, when he came out his rookie year, he averaged 28, 5, and 5. 28, 5 and 5, or 28, 6 and 5. Like, ridiculous numbers. Shooting 50%. So Jordan coming out the gate was already, ridiculous. So I hate to talk that about somebody supposed to be rivaling Jordan. Nobody's ever done no rookie numbers like that before in their life. So, Len Bias getting drafted by the Boston Celtics. I'm going to get into that also. Getting drafted by the Boston Celtics. Before he got drafted, he signed a deal with Reebok that made him a millionaire. He signed a deal with Reebok that made him a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? So he was rich off the shoe deal. When he signed, he was that big. So he's already he done inked the deal. After he inked the deal, he go snort, doing Scarface stunts, whole bricks to the face. You know what I'm saying? That's how Len Bias was doing it. You know what I'm saying? He's the next NBA star. Celebrate. That's how he celebrated. And that right there is why he was killed. Because Reebok they didn't we're not giving you $5 million so you can go snort cocaine. We're giving you $5 million so that you can be and endorse our sneakers and rival Jordan, who just signed with Nike, and his rookie year had if you didn't see the movie Air, I suggest you go see that. It was a good movie. What he did for Nike just his rookie year. We're signing you so that you can rival that for our company. If we sign you and you go snort 4 kilos of cocaine, I can't depend on you. You're gonna break down, and Nike will officially be better than Reebok. That's what's going on here. You get what I'm saying? And looking at that video, that dude Brian Tribble is the one. He is the one. He is the William O'Neal, the Ron Karinga and Darthar. That's him. Brian Tribble. He set Len Bias up. He gave him the poisonous package. Somebody approached Brian Tribble and said, "Yo, I know that you hang out with Len Bias. We've been watching you. We've been watching him, and we watched you. So when you do a line, make sure that you do it out of this package instead of that one." We've been hearing a lot of freakiness going on. Even with the Diddy story, how when you go to the party, you got these bottles over here. These bottles are untampered with, and these bottles right here are tampered with, and make the girls get loose, had a fun. That's a lot of that is going. That's always been a thing. So Brian Tribble is he's the murderer. He's the killer. Brian Tribble killed Len Bias. He should be in. He should have went to prison for killing Len Bias, but he got to walk free off of the Len Bias case. He ended up getting arrested. You know, on some other stuff. That's usually how it works for federal informants. You know, that's usually how it works with federal informants. You get off on the big joint and then they catch you on some other shit because they don't care about you. You are a informant. Who really cares about you? You may get an extra trade, but you're an informant. So Len Bias was murdered because nobody wanted to invest in a drug addict. They don't want to invest in a drug addict. That was the issue. And the Boston Celtics have been pulling. This is the reason why people hate Boston Celtics, because they just do illegal. They do illegal stuff. They operate off of the like the first Constitution. You know what I'm saying? Before the second Constitution was written, they operate off of 3/5 of a man type of laws going on in Boston, because they just do illegal shit. That's all they're about. That's why when we talk about stats and everything like that, like rest in peace to Bill Russell. We loved when he was around. You know what I'm saying? Especially during the final for him to give out the MVP award and stuff like that. But we just knew those titles don't really compare to Jordan 6. You know what I'm saying? Those 11 don't compare to the 6, because we know that Boston is known for cheating. When they drafted Larry Bird, they drafted him while he was still in college, and Larry Bird got to play another year in college. Build up his cachet, play Magic Johnson, you know what I'm saying, to come into the league as Larry Bird. And when they draft Len Bias, they coming off a year where Larry Bird doing 25, 10, and 7 on 50, 40, 90. You know what I'm saying? Just ridiculous. Kevin McHale averaging 21 and 8. You know what I'm saying? And so it was a full team, really full team. That's why the 86 Celtics are known as one of the best teams of all times. Right? And that's what Len Bias would have gotten drafted to. Len Bias would have been drafted to the 86 Celtics. You know? And he would have been either replacing Kevin McHale, bumping Kevin McHale down to number 2, or he would have been number 3, and it would have been just a crazy team. But that cocaine habit, nobody wanted to invest in him. The Boston Celtics drafted him just so that he can get killed. The Boston Celtics knew what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? That's why people don't like the Boston Celtics. They always doing some super dirty stuff. You know what I'm saying? Remember in Killer Season, they willing to do some stuff that we won't do. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Boston Celtics are about. Whitey Bulgers out there catching wreck. So when it comes to this, you know what I'm saying? It's like Len Bias, he wasn't going to be competition for Michael Jordan. Even if being healthy, he wasn't going to. He probably was doing cocaine in college, and they just couldn't stop him. But he wasn't going to be competition for Jordan. You saw it in The Last Dance. As soon as Michael Jordan came into the league, he got rid of the cokeheads on the team. It was a coke-infested team, and Michael Jordan got rid of them. And Michael Jordan still averaged 28, 5, and 5. You know what I'm saying? So Len Bias was not going to be competition for Michael Jordan. He would have been a good player. You know what I'm saying? But he wouldn't have been competition for Michael Jordan. The Boston Celtics would have been competition. Would have been them. They just would have been them. You know what I'm saying? Because Jordan didn't come up until the Celtics were out the way anyway. So I just wanted to come through in that one right there. Brian Tribble is the one that killed Len Bias. Len Bias was killed. He wasn't no crack overdose. He was killed. Set up. But I'm going to go and get out of here, man. I'm out.